Hello everyone, this is Brett. Thanks for tuning in. So today's video is a vinyl haul exclusively from a store in Tempe, Arizona called Double Nickels. Double Nickels started off as East Side Records in downtown Tempe, just west of Arizona State University. Used to go there all the time when I'd wander around when I was a student in the music department. And they closed down at some point and relocated just north of the campus and renamed it Ghost of East Side Records. And then several years back, they settled in this old strip mall on Mill Avenue and Southern next to this legendary dive bar called the Yucca Tap Room. Highly recommended if you're in Arizona or if you're visiting to check out Double Nickels. The owner Mike is very cool. There's so much to dig there. There's records everywhere, CDs, cassettes, videotapes, you name it, vintage t-shirts, electronic gear, and their prices are great. So the first four I'm going to show I've had before have in other formats, whether it was cassette or CD or digitally, and I picked these up because they were gaping holes in the collection. I was very happy to find Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' first album, From Her to Eternity. This is post-birthday party, came out in 1984. Opens up with the song Avalanche, which is just such killer, thunderous drumming. The Bad Seeds at this time had Mick Harvey, who was with Nick Cave in the birthday party and the Boys Next Door. You had Blixa Bargeld from Neubauten, Barry Adamson, who was the bass player in Magazine, Hugo Race on guitar. Anita Lane, who is featured on the back cover, she co-wrote some lyrics for the title track as well as the song Stranger Than Kindness, which is on the next record that I'm going to show. So there we go. From Her to Eternity, Nick Cave. Next up, one of my absolute favorite Nick Cave albums, Your Funeral, My Trial, which is a great title. Two of my absolute favorite Nick Cave songs on this one, the title track, Your Funeral, My Trial, and Stranger Than Kindness, which I just referenced. The late Anita Lane, who passed away last year, she co-wrote lyrics on that one as well. This was produced by Flood. Many of you know him from Depeche Mode, U2, New Order, and this album was recorded at Hansa Studios in Berlin, where David Bowie's famous Berlin trilogy, a lot of early Depeche Mode records. I was fortunate when I performed in Leipzig a couple years ago, and my friend Michael and I took a walk and visited Hansa Studio and soaked up that kind of vibe, walking up those stairs, taking the elevator that Iggy Pop and David Bowie rode on, and Dave Gahan, Martin Gore, Nick Cave. So super cool. So this was a great find. All right, next up, the 1977 debut album from the post-punk band Wire. This album has 31, I think it's 31 songs. I may have miscounted, it may not be that many. But a good chunk of the album, the songs are under 90 seconds. The song 12XU, some of you may know it from Minor Threat covering it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 songs. Not 31. Anyways, Wire, Pink Flag, and then I also found Chairs Missing. This was their second album, 1978. The song structures got more evolved, more melodic, and check out the song Outdoor Miner if you're unfamiliar. And I have 154 up there as well. That was the third album. Artwork on these Wire records, which are done by two of the band members. I mean, just stark minimalistic beauty. All right, so next up, this one, my wife Sarah ended up eagle eye spotting this one on the wall, and another UK post-punk band, Sad Lovers and Giants. This is the Mirror Test from 1987. If you like things like the sound, the Chameleons, even early U2, you can hear some of that delay guitar like you may hear on Electric Co from U2's Boy album. Highly recommend Sad Lovers and Giants if you're unfamiliar. Next up, I have to thank our old vinyl community friend Mike, Bostonian Reggie. He sent me this years ago. I was looking at the letter he wrote, and he sent me this back in 2013. It's a band called Zeitgeist, translates solely. They're kind of like a college rock band from the 80s, from Austin, Texas. And after their first album, they ended up changing their name to the Reavers. I would have never known this and never known to even pull this out when I flipped by it if it wasn't for Michael sending me that years ago. This is their second album, their major label debut on Capitol. It came out in 1987. It was produced by Don Dixon. Some of that name may ring familiar for REM, for producing REM's early work. Worked with the Smithereens and also the Gin Blossoms on their most recent album, Mixed Reality. So if you're fans of, like, let's just say Gin Blossoms, throw that out there first. Even REM to an extent, the Bangles, the Laws, the Primitives, I think that's all in that wheelhouse. Really good stuff. Check it out. The song, there's a video for the song In Your Eyes, which is really good. So that's the Reavers, Saturday. That one's from 1987. All right, next up, this was a band that I've known of for years. I've had songs from them on compilations, but I've never actually owned an album. So in a lot of these used records were just under $5. So this one is from the Scottish. They started out more goth rock, but this is Balm and the Angel. This is I think it's their third album, called Live Free or Die. It's a gold stamp promo. It's even got the old hype sticker on there. It's got, this one's got more elements of like what I would call 80s hard rock, Sunset Strip, even kind of hair metal stuff mixed with these kind of goth overtones. When I saw it was produced by Steve Brown, I was really excited because Steve Brown produced the Colts Love album, which sounds so great. But anyways, they're Scottish, and it's three brothers, the Morris brothers. So this, if you like, list is going to be just incredibly varied. So Gene Loves Jezebel. The Cult, when the Cult got more hard rock, like electric Sonic Temple era. The Mission. Vocally, there's like reminders of me hearing of like Alice Cooper, Faster Pussycat, Rat, Motley Crue. So if you combine like goth with 80s hair metal, Sunset Strip, the opening two tracks, I'll Show You Something Special, which I think was in a John Hughes movie, maybe Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I Love the Things You Do to Me, are really just kind of epic songs. So Balm and the Angel, check these guys out. All right, next one. This is one that I had on either CD or cassette years and years ago. Kind of indescribable music, but this is Daniel Dax. This is called Dark Adapted Eye, and this is also a gold stamp promo. So she's from the early 80s, really iconic photos, just super teased hair. Mick Mercer, kind of a goth photographer, journalist, has shot a lot of her photos. And her music is just, as I said, kind of indescribable. The nearest touchstone, without sounding too lazy, would be Kate Bush. But this was the first release of hers that came out in the U.S. from 1988, but she had been releasing albums prior to that. But you know, like a lot of bands from that era that were more import, finally, like the U.S. put together a comp, and that's what this is, which collects some stuff around the album she was releasing at the time. I'm kind of speechless when it comes to her. I had this years ago, but Sarah, my wife, had done some research, and apparently Daniel Dax these days is in interior design, and she was part of some British competition show where people get their houses redecorated. So I think that's what she's doing these days. So Daniel Dax. All right, I think this is the last one here. One of my favorite bands of all time is Roxy Music, and we've been listening to a lot of Roxy Music and Brian Ferry around here. So I ended up finding this for a few dollars. This is Brian Ferry, the singer of Roxy Music. This was his fourth album, 1977's In Your Mind. If you don't know Brian Ferry's solo work or Roxy Music, he's just got one of the most unique voices in music history. His vocal vibrato is just kind of second to none. So this was released in between the Roxy Music album Siren and Manifesto, and it kind of sounds like a lost Roxy Music album. It even has Phil Manzanera on guitar from Roxy Music and the drummer Paul Thompson. Yeah, and then I was happy to see, did not even know this, but John Porter, when I was looking at the credits, I saw John Porter played bass on this, and I was like, that can't be the same John Porter. And of course it is. John Porter, who ended up producing the first, I think, all the Smiths album except the last one. He also worked with, I think, The Alarm, produced Ocean Blues' first album, and Killing Joke. So this was a great addition to the collection, one that I was unfamiliar with and didn't have. But there you go. So that was all from Double Nickels Records in Tempe, Arizona. I'll post a link in the description if you guys want to check them out. But if you're in town, passing through, live here, and have never heard of it or been there, definitely check out Double Nickels. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.